Hi everybody and welcome back to Lost Genre Reddit Stories. So before we start today's video, I just wanted to give a quick thank you to everyone who clicked, liked, or commented yesterday. It did help. Yesterday's video was my best watched video in like 10 days. And I know there's a lot more things than just engagement for the algorithm, but it did help and I just wanted to say thank you. So please don't forget to do it again. That is of course if you have the time. Now let's get started with today's story. This post is from the subreddit Relationships and it's by user Deleted. I, 29 female, would like to go to a wrestling show tonight, but just saw on Facebook that my husband, 44 male, separated for 9 months, and possibly his girlfriend, 33 female, will be there. Should I skip it to avoid possible confrontation? Go anyway and have fun? Please help. My soon-to-be ex-husband and I had a 3-year marriage. We separated about 9 months ago. One of the things we shared is that he introduced me to the WWE as well as independent wrestling shows. The latter were always amazing, tons of yelling and screaming, and I was constantly picked on by the wrestlers for being a girl in the front row. One indie wrestler at a local show even grabbed the beer out of my hand, swigged it, and then dumped the rest on it on me to the boos and cheers of the crowd. It was exhilarating. Ever since my husband and I amicably separated last summer, I've been struggling with severe depression. In that time, I've also experienced a lot of change that put quite a bit of stress on me. I've moved several times, visited a couple of countries, lived with different people, and no longer see my beloved cat who lived with me and my ex, as the place I'm renting won't allow pets. I'm not dating anyone and cut ties with a long-term F-buddy a month ago. Meanwhile, my husband began dating someone from his pinball league while we were considering our separation and still living together. It took him no time at all. They have great fun together and are constantly going to events. As a result, I stopped going to wrestling shows and the pinball bar we used to frequent together because I was afraid of running into them. Recently, I began to claw my way out of my depressive state and slowly seeing friends again, as well as volunteering at Meals on Wheels. Since I've never been single, literally since the age of 13, always having one boyfriend after another, I never developed my own interests and was even told by exes, who turned out abusive, that my interests suck. I know they were just trying to hurt me, but it didn't help me foster my own interests, so I just gloomed onto whatever my partners liked. The sad thing is that I've liked pinball since I was 10 due to that Windows pinball game that I played for hours a day and grabbed my husband to visit the new pinball bar when it first opened. I feel like I can't go because he and his girlfriend are good friends with the owner now, and it feels weird. I can't go to the small comedy house because my ex is good friends with a big comedian who hosts most of them. I actually really enjoy local indie wrestling shows, but have been too afraid to go because my ex and his girlfriend might be there too. I told my ex that I did some axe throwing over the summer, and now he and his girlfriend are doing it too. Even though we split amicably, I feel like his girlfriend has a problem with me because she wouldn't even let us meet for 5 minutes for him to lend me his travel backpack for my trip to Costa Rica last year. Apparently, she felt really uncomfortable about us meeting at a public place for literally minutes. I was promised the backpack for weeks until I received a text from him 2 hours before we were supposed to meet up. This was 6 months ago, but who knows, maybe she still feels that way and will get territorial if she sees me. Neither I nor my ex has pushed through the divorce papers yet, and he hasn't deleted pictures of me from his Facebook, but I'm not harboring the hope that he still has feelings for me. I just want to stop feeling like this small city is closed off to me. What do you think, Reddit? The event is in 2 hours. Should I go or should I stay home and figure out some new interests and places to go? Thank you for reading. Well, OP, the short answer is if you enjoy it and you think you're gonna have fun, then go. If they're there. It doesn't really matter. The thing is, if she has a problem with you, then it's her problem, not yours. Why are you trying to bend over backwards to make her feel comfortable? Don't do that to yourself, OP. You mentioned so many things that sound like really cool and that you would enjoy a lot, like axe throwing, the pinball, the comedy, the wrestling. All of those things are incredibly fun. I enjoy them too. don't stop yourself from going because she might feel uncomfortable. Again, that's the second time I say it, but it's because it's really important. And if you see them, remember, being courteous doesn't take away from being courageous. Meaning that if you're in close proximity to them, just shake her hand and look her in the eye and say hi with a smile, like you don't even really care who the F she is. Because let's face it, you shouldn't and you don't. That's what I did a long time ago when my wife wanted me to meet her friends and her ex was there. The ex that actually proposed to her after he knew that we started dating. I said hi, looked at him, like didn't even really care about him, and that was it. 10 minutes later, he said he needed to leave because he wasn't feeling well. And that was it. Actually, my wife and I never heard from him or saw him again. In short, OP, like some Redditors would say, don't set yourself on fire to keep somebody else warm. Particularly somebody who you shouldn't even care about. Go to the wrestling show and enjoy it. And what do you guys think about this situation? How would you deal with it? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's move on to the community comments to see what they said. Witch9 says, go with some friends and have fun. Don't live your life worried that you'll run into him. Same with the pinball bar and comedy club. Seriously, if they are there, you could always just leave if it gets too much. If you keep running into them, it'll keep getting easier. But a good way to meet new people with your interests is to keep doing the things that interest you. And you definitely do have your own interests. You've liked pinball for so long. You found that you really like wrestling. Don't give them up because of a relationship that didn't work out. Also, it may be time to rethink not working through those divorce papers. It's going to get a lot easier to deal with when you're not thinking of him as your husband and he's made his way with someone else. You may find it freeing to completely sever ties. Won't you join the dance says, I can't even believe how much this resonates with me. I dated a dude after dude from 13 to 22 and constantly was adapting my interests to meet those of the guy I was dating. It's taken me years to figure out what I really liked after the last one dumped me. We both went to a local board game store where we played things like 40K, MTG, and other games. I was terrified to go back after we broke up. He was even dating my former roommate best friend to make it even scarier. But you know what? F that guy if he's going to take away my happiness, in addition to my heart. Do you know what I did? I took the game store. He did not get to have the things that made me happy, especially after he cheated on me and put me through hell by lying to my friends. Go out and go to the wrestling event. Indie wrestling is insanely fun. Meet new people there who share this interest with you. The most powerful thing you can do after a relationship ends is just choose not to care. Heart. Dildo the King says, why let someone from your past dictate your future? Have fun. The likelihood of confrontation is minimal. Just enjoy yourself. And Riley Bond says, you should go, and it sounds like his girlfriend feels threatened by you, so even if you see each other, they will likely be the ones to leave. Enjoy your hobbies. Well, the majority of the community agrees. OP should just go and enjoy what she likes, without the care of them being there or whatever. Now, OP didn't reply to any comments, so we don't have any additional context, meaning we're moving straight to the update. But before that, I'd like to ask you to, once again, if you're liking this video, then go ahead and click that like button. It does help a lot. Thanks again. Let's move on with the update. Thank you so much for all of your support, Reddit. Every single comment I received urged me to go to the show even if he was there. Many of them said that there was a very small chance of seeing the two of them, let alone confrontation. Well, after I put up the OP, I asked my roommate, 40 male, if he's ever been to a wrestling show. He's from France, and even though he's seen the WWE way back in the days of Hulk Hogan, he'd certainly never been to a local independent wrestling show and was very excited to come along with me. I put on my old Brock Lesnar t-shirt and we went out the door. We got to the venue, a big punky heavy metal bar, and there was a huge line already formed. Tickets were at the door. I figured there was no way we'd get good seats, but lo and behold, 2 open seats in the front row of one of the 3 sides of the ring. It was super exciting since it's the best view in the house and I wanted my roommate to get the full experience. I even warned him to move quickly if he saw the wrestlers flying out of the ring in our direction. I chatted a little with the guy sitting behind me and started to feel like my old self again. It was great. Then, about 10 minutes later, while it was still dark in the venue as the show hadn't yet started, I noticed the spotlights roaming around the audience. As I was in the front, the spotlight was constantly shining on me through the darkness. I looked across the ring and noticed my husband sitting there in the exact same seat as me in the front row, just on the opposite side. He had an empty seat next to him, but I didn't see his girlfriend anywhere. I put my hand over my mouth in shock and then whispered to my roommate that my ex was right across from me. As soon as I finished telling him, I looked up again to see if he was still there, but the seat was now empty. He definitely noticed me, sitting next to a guy he probably thought was my date, and left. His seat remained empty for the rest of the show, but I didn't see him in the audience, so he either left altogether or was all the way in the back where I couldn't see him. The wrestling show was so good that my ex-husband was the last thing on my mind. I yelled and cheered so hard and generally felt like my old self again that I almost lost my voice, lol. One of the comments on the original post asked me if I'd let a wrestler take my beer this time around as well, and yes, it happened! In the main event of the show, there was a champion match, and I was not a big fan of the reigning champ at all and kept cheering for his opponent. At one point in the match, the underdog jumped out of the ring, so we all stood up thinking there would be a brawl in our area. He nonchalantly took my beer, drank some, and handed it back to me, instead of dumping it on me like another wrestler did at that other show. The funniest part of that evening is that I told the guy sitting behind me how I had my own beer dumped on me at a different show and that I was wearing the same exact t-shirt as the last time, so maybe it will happen again. When it actually did, they both started patting me on the back and high-fiving me, lol. After that, I cheered for him harder than ever before. 10 minutes later, he won the championship. I like to think it was the power of my beer that helped him overcome the odds. Winky face. Also, my roommate loved it. He had a great time and even recorded some of the matches. We joked that wrestling is like a form of live theater where you can drink, yell, and swear at the performers. Wrestlers are acrobats, artists, models, fighters, bodybuilders, and improv comedians all rolled into one. I have to say, it was really hard for me to develop these interests and then have to abandon them just because I was too scared to run into my ex and his girlfriend. In my original post, I wrote that I felt like I couldn't even go to the pinball bar I loved, even though I've loved pinball for 20 years, because my ex joined their weekly league. And that's where he met his girlfriend while we were still together. Now that I feel comfortable going to indie wrestling shows, I'll be hitting up the pinball bar far more frequently and getting my ball-busting groove back. Smiley face with the tongue out. Alright OP, fantastic update. You went to the show, you enjoyed it, you got your groove back, you're gonna go to the pinball, and you didn't even think about your ex even though you saw him. So this is great improvement OP. So nothing left to say, but here's wishing you the best in the future OP. Thank you so much for sharing and take care. Now let's move on to the next post that, like I said in the beginning, also has an update. This post is from the subreddit Relationships and it's by a user who couldn't find any vowels in his keyboard. Me, 17 male, with my stepbrother, 17 male, wants to pay for us to go Euro tripping. I'm uncomfortable accepting. My stepbrother Josh and I have been brothers for just over 12 years now. He lives in another state with his mom, but for most holidays he comes and stays with us. Josh's mom is a lot wealthier than we are. I've gone to stay with him a few times over the years. It's a different world, lol. But we're really close. We text all the time and game together and definitely talk every day. About 2 months ago, Josh asked me if I wanted to go to Europe with him and his friends. I told him no, with the reason being that being away for 4 weeks with people I don't know who are all best friends would be awkward and like third wheeling. The real reason though was because I definitely couldn't afford to do that. I'm saving money for college. I should mention his mom is going to pay my tuition. Last week, he asked me again if I wanted to go, but just him and I. His friends are still going, but he wants to go with me. So I told him the truth, that I don't want to go because I can't afford to. He said his mom has already said she'll pay for us if I want to go, but I really don't feel comfortable accepting that, especially since she already offered and then insisted, which was really nice of her, to pay for my college tuition. He says it's a graduation and 18th birthday gift to us, but that's not my mom. I mean, she's obviously a nice lady and she's made me feel welcome over the time I've met her, and whenever she walks by, Josh and I are on FaceTime, but still. Josh kept asking me to explain why, which made me defensive and mad, and I'm not sure why, but I snapped and said some really mean things to him, like that he was spoiled, which isn't true. He's had jobs too and had to contribute to the purchase of his car. He didn't speak to me for about a week, but we talked today and I apologized. Josh said he won't ask me again, but that the offer is still on the table and he'd love to go with me either with his friends or just us two. I'd love to go on the trip. Euro tripping sounds like fun, but I'd especially love to go to spend time with Josh before college. Who knows if we'll get this opportunity? But still, I feel weird accepting such a gift, especially because his mom has already been so generous. Am I being illogical in not accepting? Well, OP, in my opinion, no, you're not being illogical. I can understand why you're not accepting. I don't think it's a pride thing. I just think you don't want to feel like a burden or that it's just too much, that you'd be taking advantage of their money, and that's not who you are. At least that's not the impression I get. But here's the thing, OP. I think you should accept the gift because that is what it is. It's a gift. And the thing is, I get the impression Josh loves you more than he likes his friends, and he would really just want to go with you because you're his best friend. And I also get the impression that the mom acknowledges how important you are to Josh, and that makes you important to her. You see, OP, there are people in this world who are not greedy a-holes and that have money to spend it and to make the people that they love happy. And in Josh's mom's book, you're one of those people that she'd like to, help enjoy life. It's not a charity, it's not an investment, it's just genuine love. In summary, OP, I'd say go. Try to do the best you can to get over that feeling of being uncomfortable and just accept the gift. And what do you guys think OP should do? Let me know in the comment section, and now let's move on to the community comments to see what they said. Deleted says, you should take this chance while you can. You may not ever get another opportunity to do something like this for the rest of your life. It probably feels like a charity, but if they are willing and rather insistent you go, why not? While you are there, grab his mother a present to show your thanks. She obviously cares about you. And OP responds, getting his mom a heartfelt present would be a good way to show her how thankful I am. She's always so nice to me, and I've seen her in person less than 10 times. If she sees me and Josh on FaceTime, she'll usually come talk for a few minutes. Or she likes to take his headset when we're gaming and talk as joke. But to be so generous to someone you don't really know, nice doesn't even begin to cover it. One Take says, he's family. She's his mom and an extension of your family. She wants her son and his family to be as strong and happy as possible. She has extra resources and gets to decide what she wants to use them on. This seems like a worthwhile investment in your and her son's future and relationship to me. This is a once-in-a-lifetime experience. Go and enjoy it. Be sincere in your appreciation. Share those feelings you're having about the generosity of this gift. Bring her a cool gift from your travels and do what you can to make traveling easy and fun by researching and planning and being a good travel buddy. And OP responds, thanks for replying. I've heard her say in the past that it was very important to her that Josh and I were close because we're each other's only siblings. Maybe you're right about her reasoning. Alright, well, overall the community was encouraging OP to go to the trip, and it seems like he's gonna go. So let's move on to the update to see what happened next. It's been almost 3 weeks since I asked for advice. Firstly, I worked on getting back to normal with my brother after I was pretty mean to him. Lucky for me, we have and are back to talking every day. Second, I spoke to my mom about it. She said she understood my reluctance, but that Josh's mom had told her that as his brother, I was part of her family, and family helps family. She would have offered the trip because she cares about me and cares about me and Josh's relationship. My mom also told me that it's okay to accept gifts like that, but to make sure you're never using people and that you give back to them, even if it's not equal in monetary value. So, thinking about what my mom said and what everyone here said, I decided to tell Josh that if he still wants me, I'd love to join him on the trip. He was really happy about that and told his mom while we were on the phone. I got to speak to her and thank her. She says she's really happy Josh and I will get to take the trip together. I told Josh I was open to going with his friends, but he said he also wanted to do stuff just us. So we decided to spend part of it with his friends and part of it just the two of us. When we were talking about the us part, he said I was just agreeing with all of his ideas, which is true, lol. But this was our trip, not me joining him on his trip. So he suggested I plan 1/3 of the trip, he'll plan 1/3, and we'll spend 1/3 with his friends. That way, we definitely do stuff that I want to do. I definitely hope that I'm as considerate of other people's feelings as Josh is. I'm not sure what I did to deserve such a kind-hearted brother, but I'm glad to have him. The fact that he wants to spend quality time with me and wants to ensure this is our trip really means a lot. I'm pretty excited about my trip with my brother. Well, OP, it sounds like Josh is an awesome dude and so do you, and it's great that you guys are not just brothers, but it honestly sounds like you're best friends, so I hope you enjoy the trip, OP. Take care and thank you for sharing. And that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch it. Now, if you've gotten to this point in the video, I assume that you like these stories that I'm reading out, so here are a couple more that you might enjoy. And if you don't have any time to watch another story right now, save it for later, and also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button.